finding your niche is basically specializing in a certain area and focusing on your ideal client's pain point. So when you figure out what it is that your ideal client needs, then from there you can strategize your marketing and also develop your programs in order to fulfill that specific need that your client has. So it's basically sets up your blueprint for where you're going to go with your marketing and also with your program design.
Welcome to Marketing and Mindset for Wellness Coaches, the podcast for health coaches and wellness entrepreneurs just like you who are building a business, making the world a healthier place, and designing a first-class life. I'm your host, Kim Foster, MD and certified business coach, and I'm on a mission to help you up-level your strategy and raise your mindset so you can truly thrive and grow your business. Let's get started. If you have listened to any of my previous podcast episodes, you may have heard me talk about the importance of choosing a niche, the importance of being really clear and really specific when it comes to who you help and what you help them with. But today, instead of hearing me talk about the importance of niche yet again, you're going to hear from one of my clients, and you'll hear her talk about what changed for her in her business once she got super clear on her niche. So my conversation today is with Dr. Porsha Robinson. Porsha is an ER physician who lives in Florida with her partner, and she works night shifts in the ER, and she's also building her health coaching business on the side. Porsha is about 1 year into building her business, and obviously she's where I was several years ago, a physician transitioning into coaching, which is one reason why I enjoyed working with her to help her build her business. But the other reason, of course, is that she is just straight up amazing. But I won't spoil any more of our conversation. I'll let you listen for yourself and hear her story for yourself. So let's dive in. All right, today I am very excited to be chatting with my client and friend, Dr. Porsha Robinson, who is a full-time ER doctor working night shifts. And also, Porsha has a virtual health coaching business where she helps busy women learn how to lose weight and keep it off while enjoying life, which is awesome. Welcome to the podcast, Porsha. It is so great to have you here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, I cannot wait to dive into our conversation. I know that you've got a lot of very valuable insight to share and, to really kind of give us a sense of like what your business is all about and, what you've learned along your journey so far and all those things. But, I want to give our listeners just a little bit more context, first of all. So just tell me a little bit more, tell our listeners a bit more about who you are, what you do, and a bit about the journey that brought you here.
Wonderful. Thank you. So as Kim mentioned, I am a full-time ER doctor. I work night shifts, so I'm a bit of a zombie. I am now officially on a nighttime schedule. So I sleep during the day and I'm up at night, which is a little bit strange, but I'm getting used to it. I started my virtual health coaching practice about a year ago. I had gained a lot of weight during medical school and residency, unfortunately, due to stress and unhealthy eating habits. I got to the point where I was really uncomfortable in my own skin, so I realized I needed to do something about it. So, of course, we've always been taught, move more and eat less. So I tried that method and failed miserably. So then I proceeded to try many, many different diets. I did a lot of yo-yo dieting, unfortunately, which led to some binge eating. I would always lose weight while on the diet, but I found it really, really difficult to stick to it. So that would result in a lot of weight gain. Anyway, I decided that I needed to do something different and try to find an actual solution because the yo-yo dieting thing wasn't really working. And I used a lot of trial and error, but I was finally able to figure it out. I lost 40 pounds and I've been able to keep it off for years. And I have a very social, enjoyable life. Of course, people around me started to notice, and my friends and family realized that I had lots of tips and I was able to start helping them. So they encouraged me to start a business, which I reluctantly accepted the challenge at the beginning because, of course, I have a full-time career, which is very stressful and busy, and I didn't necessarily plan on adding something else to my plate. But I realized that there was a really big need in the community for some help because I figured if I was a doctor and I struggled to find the answer, then I'm sure there are other people that were struggling too. So that's how I started my business a year ago, and it's going amazingly well, and I love it.
That is so amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's quite a journey. Like, I mean, through all of the things that you tried and all the yo-yo dieting and all the stuff that, was not great for your health, I'm sure, to finding the solution for you, losing 40 pounds, keeping it off. I love that. That's good stuff. And so I'm so happy that you listened to your friends and family who convinced you that this was worthwhile to bring to other women so that you can help other people too.
Yeah, I'm grateful for them too. Like I said, I was really reluctant at the beginning, but now I've taken this journey. It's been so rewarding to really help women change their lives. It's just wonderful. It's rewarding in a different way than medicine is.
Yeah, that's the truth for sure. And I mean, we all go into medicine. I mean, I don't know exactly why you went into medicine originally, but most people that I know, we go into medicine because we do want to help people. And so we're kind of driven by that calling. And then but for you to find this really new and beautiful way to help people it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I really love it. And I'm excited for the day that I can transition to doing emergency medicine part time. I'm never going to give it up because I do love emergency medicine, but I found that health coaching for me is more rewarding. So I'm excited for the day that I can do both with vigor, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. That day is coming too, for sure. I can tell you that. Okay, awesome. So, yeah, let's unpack things a little bit more, about your business journey and, how you came to this work. So, I mean, I'd love to talk about the concept of ideal client. Like who is your ideal client? Tell us about that. And how did you decide who your ideal client would be? Because I know that a lot of coaches really do struggle with this piece. So I'd love to get your take on it.
That's a great question. It's interesting because when I first started this business, of course, I knew a lot about weight loss and I knew a lot about doing it while busy and stressed out, but I knew nothing about running a business. It's not something that they teach you in medical school at
Exactly.
all. You really just have to learn it along the way. So, I actually learned a lot from you, Kim, from your free content, your
Mm.
blogs and your podcast and your YouTube videos. I started my business in October of last year. And unfortunately, I injured my hand in December. I cut two tendons in my hand and I needed to have surgery.
Mm.
So I was out of work for 3 months without pay. And at the beginning, I was not too happy about it, of course, as
Of
one could
course.
imagine. I was down in the dumps and I did have myself a little pity party at the beginning, but my fiance, who is an ER doctor as well, he let me kind of, wallow in self-pity for a few days. And then after that, he was like, "Well, you're going to be off for 3 months. Why didn't you just use this opportunity to work on your business?" So, of course, I took that advice and I ran with it and I found Kim because
Mm.
I started Googling doctors who became health coaches. And I really did not find too many of those, but I
Mm.
did find Kim. And then I found your free content. And one of the podcasts that I listened to that really had an impact on me was episode 4 where you talk about finding your niche, and that ties into finding your ideal client. So when I first started my business, I thought I want to help everyone because I, of course, like, weight loss is the principles that I use can be used by anyone to have success, and I have helped multiple different people. And my thought was I should help every single person that comes to me. And that was a big mistake that I learned from Kim. So I realized that I needed to figure out exactly who my ideal client was. And I did a lot of work using Kim's free tools to be able to find that. So my ideal client is a busy professional woman who is trying to prioritize her health while balancing work and home life, which
Mm.
is easier said than done.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And I chose that as my ideal client because one of my biggest struggles when I was in medical school and then transitioned into residency, where I was working insane hours, Kim can probably remember those
Mhm.
days.
Oh,
It's
yes.
it's really challenging. I remember feeling overwhelmed because I didn't know how I was going to lose weight, and also be a good resident and eventually a good physician. I didn't know how I would have the time for both. And as a professional woman, I don't have children yet, but I do have a house that I have to take care of, and I do have a relationship. I have a fiance. So I realized that I needed a lot of help that was tailored to me, and just following the typical advice that you Google didn't work for me. So I have a soft spot for busy professional women who are trying to do all the things: work, take care of their health, take care of their home, take care of kids. It's a struggle, and I have designed programs to help that particular woman.
I love that. And it's it's so authentic for you because you lived it. It's your life too. So it's not a stretch for you to work with these people and really speak to this particular segment of the market because you know exactly what they're dealing with, what their pain points are on a really specific and visceral level. So that's awesome. I love that. And I particularly love that you like podcast number 4. That's way back. That's amazing.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
so glad. But that you can obviously number 4, it was like one of my very first episodes that I recorded. And because that is how important I think like choosing your niche and really getting clear on your ideal client is. It's just this foundational piece. But absolutely what you said about like you, of course, you come out and you want to be like, I want to help everybody. Everybody can benefit from this. And although that is true, you can't market to everybody. You can't build a business trying to speak to everybody.
Yeah, that is so true. One of the things that really struck a chord with me, Kim, during your episode was when you talked about, I think it was the lotion analogy
Mm,
that you used,
yeah.
where you said, and you guys, if you haven't listened to this episode, you guys need to go back to episode 4, listen to it, take notes, digest it, and apply it to your business because it's going to be life changing. But I remember you said, if you had itchy, dry skin and you went to the store and you needed a lotion for your dry skin and you saw a lotion that was for everyone. This lotion is excellent for all skin types. And then you saw another lotion that said, this lotion is perfect for itchy, dry skin. Well, which one would you choose? Obviously, you would choose the lotion that was designed for you, for your need. And when you gave that example, it just totally shifted my mindset and clicked for me. That was awesome, Kim.
Oh, great. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes like a really just an example like that just kind of helps to take it out and just reframes everything because we're all so close to our businesses and we're all, it's hard to get that perspective. So I'm glad that that helped you. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Um
awesome.
yeah, and so I mean, was it easy then from that point for you to identify your ideal client or did you kind of have like a bit of a journey to come to that decision?
I would say that at the beginning, I knew I wanted to work with women because obviously I'm a woman and I can connect to women in a way that is unique, and I understand the struggles that women go through. And then I was able to define my age group, my appropriate age group that I wanted to focus on. Um, I did use your steps to try to define that more clearly. But another thing that did help me was during my time off, I hired a web designer to create a website for me. And I did a lot of research and I basically interviewed three different designers. And I chose this particular designer. Her name is Michelle Miller, by the way, if you guys
Mm.
are interested and need a website. And her Instagram is Minty Made. So MINTYMADE. And she's awesome. I chose her because she actually utilized a health coach herself, just for some food issues that she had in the past. And she was able to make some amazing breakthroughs, and she understood the value of health coaching. And I thought that was extremely important, so that she knew that health coaching is really important and that she could relay that through my website. But she really helped me to define further my ideal client and solidify that thought. What she did for me was she did a questionnaire where I basically talked about my ideal client, and she got into extreme detail with it, more detail than I'd ever thought of before. And then she created these awesome mood boards for me based on my ideal client. And she created three different mock ideal clients where she put a picture of what my client would wear. And then she did a bio on my client talking about what they did for a living, where they shopped, what they like to do for fun, and what their pain point was, what they struggled with. And so from that point, I was really able to visualize my ideal client. I could see her as if she was real. And that was amazing.
That is amazing. It sounds like she's much more than, a web designer. She's like a brand strategist, I would
Oh,
even
yeah.
venture to call. That's so great. And your website is absolutely gorgeous and so on the mark in terms of like, yeah, speak your messaging. It's very, very specific. So and it's so smart that you sought out a designer who, really would have a deep and personal understanding of the importance of health coaching because she had experienced it from the perspective of the client. I'm sure that that made a huge difference to the end point design.
Oh, yeah. It was a great experience. And this was what she did from the very beginning, like just like you, Kim, how you did that at episode 4. It's so important. And then what we did from there was we designed my website with my ideal client in mind. I'm
Hmm.
talking about from the lettering we used to the colors, the wording. I mean, everything was always going back to what does our ideal client look like and what would she want to see? So that was wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's once you really have clarity on that piece, then so many of the like all of your decisions that go from that point forward are so much easier because you can always bring it back to viewing it through that filter. Like, okay, so what, I'm trying to make this decision about this piece. Well, let's think about my ideal client. What does she need to hear? What does she want to see? All of that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's so important, guys.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so then, what happens next? Like what was your experience then like, once you discovered your ideal client, your niche, you were on your way to creating this gorgeous website that was specifically designed and curated just for your ideal client. What steps then came from there?
So, of course, finding your ideal client and your niche are the foundational pieces for your business that I was lacking initially when I first started. But then I started listening to Kim, started listening to you, Kim, and I quickly got on track. And then, of course, my web designer and brand strategist helped solidify that. So I realized that I needed to really focus on a specific niche because I needed to figure out what problem my ideal client was having so that I could come up with a solution. So finding your niche is basically specializing in a certain area and focusing on your ideal client's pain point. So when you figure out what it is that your ideal client needs, then from there you can strategize your marketing and also develop your programs in order to fulfill that specific need that your client has. So it's basically sets up your blueprint for where you're going to go with your marketing and also with your program design.
Yeah, exactly. And I love what you just said about figure out what problems she has that you are going to be able to solve. So, and that's what decides and dictates what your offers are going to be. So, so you started offering private coaching, I think, right?
Yeah. So I actually started off with one-on-one coaching. To be honest, when I first started my business, I wasn't 100% sure that I was going to continue with my business. I
Mhm.
really just wanted to try out just to see would I be able to manage this business and my career, because I tend to be somewhat of a perfectionist, as most of us women
Mhm.
are. And I just didn't want to take on something that I couldn't do amazingly well. I wanted, if I was going to do this business, I wanted it to be very high quality. So I really started with one on one, really just to test it out, to see
Yeah.
did I like it? Was I able to provide value to people? Did they think it was worth it? So I started off that way, and I started off with a few clients that were really in my circle through work and people I knew. And I started off with 60-day programs because I thought to myself, well, I can try this for 60 days. And
Yeah.
after the 60 days, my clients had amazing results and I had 100% retention. I asked my clients, I realized I loved it and I wanted to continue. And I asked them if they wanted to sign up for an additional 12 weeks. And every single one of my clients wanted to keep going. And so that told me something. Okay, I'm on the right track. This is working, and I'm providing value to people. And then now I do one-on-one programs, but I've transitioned to doing group programs as well. So now I do one-on-one and also group programs.
That's awesome. I want to talk about the group programs in a second, but I just want to circle back to those amazing results that you got for people. I mean, first of all, I love that you went into this with just like, I'm just going to try this out. Let me just kind of see if this can fly, if I like it, if it fits into my lifestyle, if I can help people. And all of those things ended up being true, right? Like
Yeah.
you did find that you really enjoyed it, that it was rewarding, and best outcome possible is that everybody had amazing results and they wanted to keep on working with you. Like that is just so incredibly validating.
Yeah, it was. And it was really encouraging too, because I wasn't sure if, it would be right for me. And my ultimate goal was to help people. And I didn't want to continue with something if I wasn't helping people, in the way that they needed to be helped. So it
Yeah.
was really encouraging and really exciting to see that, oh, okay, I'm onto something here.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's like energizing to keep you going to that next level. So, okay. So then from there, so you of course are still offering private coaching, but tell me about tell our listeners about your group, because that's super exciting too. What about that next stage of your evolution?
Well, I decided to transition to group programs because I've become quite busy with my one on one clients. Because, of course, now I've had this business for a year and the clients I have excellent results. So then they get around other people who ask them about the results, and then I
Yeah.
get referrals. So I've been quite busy with one on one clients, but I still work full time, and I do have to still work full time for a few more years. And I realized that I was kind of hitting my limit in terms of time with one on one clients, because with one on one clients, I give them a lot more time. They get 2 consultations a month, they get unlimited messaging with me, their programs are extremely customized. And I realized that if I wanted to help more people, that I would have to transition into group programs. So I just launched my first 12-week group program. They're actually about to start week 3. And things are going really well. It's a different process than the one-on-one coaching, but I do really enjoy it. And my clients have been getting great results already, even though it's been a couple of weeks. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. It's just so great. Like it just feels like such a natural evolution of your work, and you'll be able to help even more people that way and just continue to grow your business. So that's really exciting.
Yeah,
I'm
it's been great.
wondering, like, what would you say? So, for somebody who, I mean, you've been in business for a year now, what would you say to somebody who is right at the beginning of things and they're at the beginning of this journey? Like, what would be your biggest tip or strategy or piece of advice that you would like to give somebody who's back at the beginning?
Oh, that is a really great question. I would say there's a few things I'd like to say. I don't think I
Mm-hmm.
can keep it to just one.
Okay, go
But
for it.
the first thing I would say is to go back and listen to all Kim's podcasts if you can. I was actually
I did not prompt her to say
You
this,
don't
by
need
the
to
way.
say that, I promise. I'm just saying that the free content that you provide has been so valuable to me. I mean, like I told you before, I had no idea how to run a business, and I didn't even really know what niching down meant, or I didn't know I needed an ideal client, or,
Mm.
I recently just re-listened to one you had about time management, and it's just so useful. So I would say listen to those episodes and take notes and apply the action steps. But it's really, really important for you to sit down and find your ideal client and find your niche. So listen to Kim's podcast episode about niching down. Get out a notepad and just write down some brainstorming ideas. You can always cross them out, you can always edit them, but you want to make sure that you find an ideal client in a niche that you're really passionate about. Because when you're passionate about that particular thing, it's going to shine through. It's going to help you stand out in a pretty saturated market. There's quite a few health coaches out there now, but it will help you to stand out, and then you'll be helping people, but most importantly, you'll be happy because you'll be doing something that you really love and that you really enjoy and that you're passionate about. And you'll be helping people. So you'll get reward from that as well.
That's perfect. That's great. Yeah. I'm wondering, what would you say was your biggest lesson maybe that you learned, or something, maybe there was a challenge or something that you faced, because you've had so much success and things have come so, it's just so beautiful how things have evolved for you. But was there a time or something that happened in your first year in business where you really, learned a hard lesson or faced a challenge, something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say for me, sales was one of the biggest struggles because I'm not naturally a good salesperson. And I didn't want to admit that
Mm.
running a health coaching business was a sales oriented type of field because, yes, the health coaching is why we sign up. We want to do the coaching, but if you are starting your own business, you do have to market yourself and you do have to sell your programs to people. And that was something I didn't want to admit, because if I admitted that, then that means I needed to start selling. And it just made me cringe to think
Mhm.
about having to sell to people. I think one of the other reasons that I struggled was that I have a full-time career. So I don't really need this business to support my lifestyle. I'm making enough of an income to support myself and maintain my household with my emergency medicine career. So there wasn't that extreme drive that I needed to
Mhm.
sell my programs. So that was like a really big struggle for me. But at the same time, as I mentioned before, I do have a goal of transitioning to part-time emergency medicine and running my health coaching business on a full-time basis. So because of that, I needed to just bite the bullet and take the challenge of selling head on. And one of the things I did was I decided to hire you, Kim, as for business coaching. I did a VIP session with you. You had multiple different offerings, but the VIP session just fit so well with my schedule and my lifestyle. And it was so beneficial. It
Mm.
was like having me, but 2.0. So I was really able to learn some strategies for selling without feeling selly, if I can say that as a word.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it really, really just helps me to change my mindset around money and, what I should be charging for my health coaching, and not being afraid to charge what my programs are worth. And also, it taught me to employ different marketing strategies in order to help me sell my programs. So I think sales for me was the biggest struggle that I had to face in business. And it's still something that I'm working on, to be honest. I do want to market my business, but I'm also aware of the fact that I am busy as an ER doctor. So finding that balance has been a little bit of a challenge for me also.
hmm But I think it's so important, exactly like you said, to be able to, I mean, first of all, just to recognize what your, blind spots or your weak points are, that kind of thing. So that, like, what are the pieces that you need to address? I'm a big believer in playing to your strengths, but sometimes there are just some basic things like you said, if you're in business for yourself, you have to sell your products or services or whatever it is that you're selling, and market yourself to your potential clients. So recognizing that there's a gap and then seeking out the help and the support to fill that gap. I think you did a beautiful job of that. And of course, there's going to be other things coming up down the road. It's so important to get support as you grow your business and sort of go on this journey into a brand new venture. At least that's what I think. What do you think?
I definitely agree. It's interesting because, when I was younger, I used to think um, that it was a bit of a waste of money to hire a coach. I thought, well, you can just Google it and do it yourself.
Yeah.
So why spend that money? But I will say that, especially since I have become a health coach and have hired my own business coach for assistance, there is so much value in having a coach. And it's interesting because if you think about people who are successful in life, if you think about CEOs, or if you think about people who are in athletics, who are at the top of their game, or even huge businesses that are doing really well and maybe started off small, they all have a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a
Exactly.
reason for that. A coach can help you troubleshoot and plan for the future, help you set clear goals and send you off in the right direction. A coach is also super valuable to help you avoid confusion and time wasting. I think about my own journey in terms of weight loss. It took me about 2 years to lose 40 pounds, but that's because I had to do so much trial and error. But if I had been able to hire a coach that knew how to help me lose weight, even though I was extremely busy and stressed out, I could have achieved my results in maybe 6 to 8 months rather than 2 years. So a coach just helps you achieve what you want to achieve in a much shorter time. And nowadays we live in the age of information overload and so many people trying to sell to us constantly, whether it's, scrolling on your phone or checking your email. There's so many ads there. If you watch TV anymore, I don't think people do that anymore because I know all my friends stream. So if you're out there and you have to watch ads, I feel very sorry for you, but we live in a world where we're just being advertised to, and it can be confusing sometimes, especially when you're trying to establish a health coaching business. What do you do? Where do you go? Where do you begin? And there's a tendency to start multiple different things and to never follow through. And that causes you to waste time and money, because time is your money. You can never get your time back. You can always make more money if you're alive, but you can't get your time back. So a business coach and a health coach can help you get to where you want to be in life in a much shorter time period. And they can eliminate the confusion that in turn causes a lot of stress.
Mm. That's so beautiful. I couldn't possibly have said it better myself. That's exactly true. Like, yeah, shorten time horizon, get where you want to be in a much easier, less stressful, less overwhelming way. There's lots of good reasons. Regardless of who and everybody, it's just everybody has different needs, but no matter, where you find your support or help, finding that support, a coach, of whatever you need help with, it's so beneficial. So that's
Oh,
amazing.
definitely. And I would say if you're starting out off in business, you may not have a big budget to hire someone for business coaching. That's okay. eventually it may be something that you are financially able to afford. If you're not able to afford it, there is a lot of free content available out there. So I would say don't stress yourself out if you financially can't afford to hire a business coach right now. Just absorb all the free content that you can absorb and take it and apply it. So don't waste your time trying to do 25 different things. Focus on one thing at a time and do that thing to completion and do that thing well. So going back to what we were talking about today about your ideal client and finding your niche, those are two things that may not seem to be very big or may not necessarily be time consuming, but those are game changers. So if you just spend an hour or two looking up online information about how to find my ideal client or what health coaching niches are available, you can just look that up and you'll be able to find a lot of free articles and podcasts. And Kim also provides a lot of free content that you can use to help you without you having to necessarily pay for coaching if you can't afford it at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great advice. And I love you plugging all my free content. Thanks,
It's
Portia.
awesome.
Amazing. All right. Well, we are just about out of time, but this has been so great. I mean, of course, I could talk to you all day long. And I know that my listeners have just enjoyed listening to your story and your evolution and all of your, juicy insights and everything. But before we go, where can our listeners go to learn more about you and the work that you're doing and connect with you?
Well, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It was such a wonderful experience. Your followers can find me at my website, which is www.eliteholisticgroup.com. And they can also find me on Instagram at the same handle, Elite Holistic Group, and also on Facebook at Elite Holistic Group. Feel free to send me an email or a message. I would say I'm mostly on Instagram, but I'm very responsive when it comes to email as well. But if you have any questions or need any guidance or tips about what direction to go in if you're starting your business, and I'm happy to help.
That's amazing. So generous. Okay, I love it. And we will link all of that in the show notes too to make it nice and easy for our listeners.
Awesome.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Portia. I will talk to you soon. Have an amazing day.
You too, and thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. Isn't she fantastic? Okay, I would love to hear your thoughts. Did this help you get more clear on the importance of choosing a niche? And were you inspired by Portia's story? Let us know by finding me and Portia on Instagram. You will find the links in the show notes and then let us know. Okay, that's a wrap for today. Before you go, just a quick reminder to take a minute to rate and review this podcast if you haven't done that yet. I read all the reviews that people leave for me, and I really appreciate everyone. Okay, as always, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you again very soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Now, if you enjoyed this episode and you're excited to take your coaching business to the next level, then I would love to invite you to attend my free online class called How to Build a Six-Figure Health Coaching Business Using One Signature Program. And that's even if you're a brand new coach. I will be revealing the 3 behind-the-scenes secrets to financial freedom without exhaustion, burnout, or being a slave to social media. In this free class, you'll learn the exact blueprint to having the impact and life you desire, even if you're not sure how to make it happen right now. I'll also tell you about the single biggest mistake new health and wellness coaches make and what to do instead. And I'll be teaching you exactly how to design a signature program step by step, including how to price your offer. And yes, I give you real numbers. To attend this class, all you have to do is sign up at drkimfoster.com/6figures and reserve your seat for free. I will see you there.